Hey, what's going on, Clipper people? It is me, William the Opinion Updike.
And I am pretty positive we're getting full-strength clips at some point. Chuck Mockler.
Oh, man, and we have a heck of a lot of injury updates to talk about. Norm updated to questionable. Kawhi, first full practice that we've seen.
Technically doubtful.
Doubtful.
Don't mean to marry on the parade, but.
So we're going to be talking about that. And then we're going to be giving you a Clippers vs. Suns preview in which Norm Powell may play. We'll see. And then it's a Whatcha Say Wednesday poll. Every single Tuesday, we put a poll out on Twitter. That's @LockedOnClips. We want to know what you think. This one is all about who would you cut if you had to make a proverbial Sophie's choice with the Clippers minutes.
Sure.
So all that and more coming up right about now.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome to Locked On Clips, coming at you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Make us your first listen, kill some windshield time. We're going to be previewing the Clippers vs. Suns game, but no idea who's playing for the Suns. They're playing right now against a team across the hall. We don't know what's going to happen with their kind of full roster because they're on a back-to-back. But the most important news of the day.
Yes.
Is Kawhi Leonard practiced in some form with the team?
I saw.
We all saw one clip of him coming in and saying, "What's up?"
Yeah, and then hooking a ball at a wall.
Throwing a ball at a wall, and then he didn't want people to film him shooting.
Yeah.
He said, "No film, please."
Don't make me shoot.
Yeah, he said, "Don't make me shoot." So it was kind of cool. If you were on Twitter today, you kind of were getting these like just text updates basically from every beat writer. Shout out to every beat writer who was out there.
Yeah. Making the journey out.
Oh yeah. What we saw was Kawhi made about 20 straight free throws when he first came out, shot some elbow jumpers, showed off some jab step pull-ups. Andrew Greif said the most consistent thing Kawhi Leonard has worked on so far is planting on his left leg and jab stepping to the right. He also mixed in some jabs to his left. His surgery 9 months ago was to the right knee. I don't know. You talked about this right before we started recording, but
I have to be honest. Like, we've gotten sorted updates from this team, all season
public
long.
workouts and visiting arenas.
This is the realest that this has felt. And
right, the timeline with everything, if you're a believer in the 4-9 prophecy or not, this feels like
there's also
the door's a little wider.
There's
open.
also some scuttlebutt, and we cannot confirm this by any stretch of the mind.
No.
But there also is some scuttlebutt that it's Kawhi's decision.
Yes, which I believe. The way that this team caters to Kawhi, as they should, I don't mean that in a weird
100%.
way. This is his call.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is scuttlebutt. He hasn't been 100% shut down yet.
It's true.
The
door is still open.
We'll skip Bayless.
Getting very thin.
We'll skip Bayless, right? Who knows? Remains to be seen.
We still haven't seen any 5-on-5.
Have not seen any 5-on-5. The most damning evidence, though, that Kawhi could be returning soon comes from Twitter user agreggy626. With some expert analysis here. He said, "This might be a stretch, and I also might be nitpicking here, but all season long, Kawhi let his hair hang loose. Now, all of a sudden, he has his normal braids. I don't know about y'all, but those who wear braids like myself, that usually means something." Could not agree more.
Yeah.
With agreggy626 here.
I love this
He's
analysis.
getting prepared.
I love this analysis. This was a great spot. Very key. I like it. I like it.
So where are you at? Because we talked timeline a little bit before we started recording. There's 2 games before the play-in. He's not playing against the Suns. Spoiler alert, if you didn't already know that.
He's already deemed out.
He's already deemed out. But with the way... No, he's probably out for that game. 100% out for that game, most likely. Where do we see
absolute certainty here from Locked On Clippers?
Maybe. Where do we see him returning? If he does, do we think he gets time before the play-in? Do we think he plays in the play-in? Or is he just coming back first round if we get to a 7-game series against the number 1 or number 2 seed? Is Kawhi Leonard descending from the rafters in the Sting duster wearing the Sting mask?
All of the above, hopefully.
What do you want to see?
Look, I mean, I would love to see Kawhi. The Kings have shut down Fox and Sabonis. The Thunder are very shorthanded.
Yes.
I would personally love to see Kawhi play 20 minutes in one of those games and just go off.
Why not both? First half and the First game, second half of the second game.
He's going to play 30 minutes in the first half?
Or not the first half, but just like he plays 15 minutes in the first half.
Gotcha.
Against
Oh, 30 minutes across
yeah.
the two, across the back-to-back. Gotcha. That's perfect.
Come in, play the last game of the season versus the Thunder. Just destroy whoever's out there.
I would like that because that's
fun.
That's like a 5-on-5 practice, but you get to see it.
And yeah, that's a good call. I don't know what the timeline is. I don't know if I care. And I have my fan goggles on right now. If this man comes back, I'm going to be insufferable.
Oh, I mean, we're absolutely going to lose our minds here on this podcast. Look, it was my line since the start of the season. I did not think Kawhi Leonard was returning this season.
Sure.
This has me doubting that.
Gotta take a look in the mirror, buddy.
And like I said at the top of this, it just feels the most real of any update that we've had around Kawhi.
Yeah.
But yeah, still nothing definite. Who else have we gotten an update on?
We got an update on Norm Powell. Woo! Upgraded to doubtful ahead of this game versus the Suns that we're going to quasi-preview now. He practiced without limitations. They did not do 5-on-5 at practice today, which is kind of an important distinction. Kawhi, Scrub, and Preston all out per the injury report. I mean, Norm's coming back before the end of the season, 100%. I just don't know if it'll be against this Suns. Well, maybe it will be because we don't know who the Suns are going to play. It is the second night of a back-to-back. So, they're going for a franchise record for regular season wins versus the team across the hall right now.
The night that we're recording this.
They're not resting anybody. So, I'm not mad at bringing Norm back off the bench for a touch of minutes versus the Suns team, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if the Suns do end up playing, one of the two stars. I don't know. Look, Monty has said that he doesn't really want to take it easy, just once they have this franchise record,
right?
Which
there's 3 games left.
No. I understand, and I think I would still read between the lines on that and say, yeah, so maybe you don't take the last 4 games off or 3 games or whatever it is. But you still probably aren't playing guys on the second night of a back-to-back.
Right, yeah, which will not happen in the playoffs at all. So real quick, what we need to do well in this one, let's keep a good offensive process up.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 games, the Clippers are averaging 124 points. Yes, this includes the 153 points versus the Bucks, but it also includes the 97 points versus the 76ers. So, kind of evens out-ish. During the stretch, Clips have averaged 26.6 assists per game, which is higher than our season average, and if taken out over the full season would be 6th in the league compared to our current 18th.
What is this like if you take the Bucks game out of it, though?
Actually, more. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's closer to 25. Either way, it's better than our current stretch. And yeah, this is the hardest remaining game on the schedule, even if Phoenix sits some guys. So I want to see Luke staying in rhythm. Zoo's coming off a really efficient double-double, and he always kind of has issues with JaVale. So this is a nice little test for him. Let's just keep that process up.
Definitely. And, we have shot sub 30% from 3 in 2 of these outings versus the Suns. It would be good to just to see the ball moving, see us knocking down some shots.
Absolutely.
Continuing that process. I'm going to say in here what we need to do well. PG, if he plays.
He should play.
I think that he should play. I mean, it's like the Kawhi thing I mentioned earlier in this. I would love to see if the Suns bench a lot of people. Paul George plays 30 minutes and puts up, 40?
Sure, yeah. I'm not going to say no to that at all.
Just sounds like a fun time. No, yeah. I would love this as a tune-up game. So, interesting. He has not seen the Suns in any of our 3 matchups. The first one was before he was out for the elbow thing. The other 2 in January and February, obviously, coincided with his injury return timeline. But that means that Paul George has not seen this Suns team since the Western Conference Finals, which is kind of crazy to think about.
That is weird.
Feels almost like a lifetime ago.
It does. I'm just going to leave it at that. What could go wrong real quick in this one, Will?
Obviously second chance opportunities in our worst loss of the season to the Suns. We lost second chance points 28-8.
Wow.
Suns predictably have held a rebounding advantage over us in all but one of these games, which
one was that?
Surprisingly or not, our lone win.
Weird win, too. I believe we didn't have PG or Batum.
PG sat that game, yeah.
They didn't have Booker or Ayton. It was weird. Either way, we needed the win.
Yeah. And another thing that could go wrong, sleeping on Cam Johnson.
Okay. Interesting.
Charles, who would you guess has been the Suns' leading scorer in 2 out of 3 matchups versus the Clippers?
Based on this lead up, definitely not Cam Johnson.
It's Cam Johnson,
Shocked.
buddy. So if the Stars can't go, you can expect Cam Johnson to be ready to play and ready to take advantage of that opportunity.
Real quick prediction: Clips win, yay or nay?
I'm
Gotta
thinking,
win out to be over 500 for the 11th season in a row.
I'm thinking yay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Norm Powell's gonna come back, drop an efficient 16. You know,
Love it.
Nothing wrong with that. Coming up, we're talking the Whatcha Say Wednesday poll, Terance versus Luke's playoff edition. But first, we have to give a shout out to Shady Rays. It is an independent sunglass company that gives you the features of $200 sunglasses for a fraction of the price. That means polarized lenses, well-constructed durable frames, premium high-end finishes. Also something you won't find anywhere else is Shady Rays' Insane Protection Program. Shady Rays includes lost and broken protection on every pair. They'll send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happened. We've all been there, left them at the beach, left them on the boat. I can't tell you how many yachts I've left my sunglasses on. It's as simple as that. Give them a try. If you don't love it, you'll pay nothing. Also, cool thing about Shady Rays, 10 meals are donated to fight hunger in America when you shop with Shady Rays. Exclusively for these Locked On Clippers listeners, head to shadyrays.com and use code LOCKEDON to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's code Locked On for their best deal of the season. 50% off 2 or more pairs of Shady Rays sunglasses, backed by over 150,000 verified 5-star reviews.
All right, hope you got your shades on because the future's looking bright for the Clippers. And Whatcha Say Wednesday, we're talking Terance and Luke's playoff minutes. Look, with these returns,
Sure.
which great news for most.
For everybody.
For some, minutes are going to get trimmed.
Yes.
So
and the minutes get trimmed. Some people, okay. And you know what? Minutes get trimmed in the playoffs. Let's get to the poll, and then I will air my grievances with some responses to this poll.
Okay, will do. So with the play-in/playoffs on the horizon, which Clipper do you think should get their minutes trimmed the most? Add a Y if you want or don't. Up to the listeners.
Yeah,
I hear there were a lot of comments on this one. So
There were.
The options, the official options on the poll were Terance Mann and Luke Kennard.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple choices.
For some people. Luke Kennard won, quote unquote, this poll with 56%.
So the majority of people thought he should lose minutes.
Yes. Not benched, just lose some minutes. Terance Mann, 44%. This is admittedly a difficult question. I think there's slightly a right answer, but it is kind of matchup dependent. A lot of people said this is matchup dependent. I have no problem with that answer.
Yeah.
That makes a whole bunch of sense.
Absolutely.
Tom Szymanski said, if I had to choose, Luke. T-Man brings so much energy, is a better defender, and while he's not a bucket, he can single-handedly turn the tide with energy, the fast break, and a poster dunk. I think we'll need Luke, but only if it's shoot every open look Luke.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Look,
and we're not saying that we don't need Luke Kennard. A lot of people somehow took this poll as like, we're not going to play Luke Kennard.
Yeah, we're not saying cut this player.
No.
Just, like, who would you see having minutes trimmed? I agree. And, Terance Mann does provide more on the two-way stuff. I'm actually a little bit surprised that this poll was so close. Just given,
honestly.
Just given Terance Mann's already body of work in the playoffs, which, granted, small sample size, but pretty impactful freaking sample size.
Yes, for sure. Dense sample size. Small but dense.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably the way I would have gone of these two. Matchup dependent for sure. It also, depends on just what we need. But I see, just in general, Terance Mann being just a little bit more valuable in more situations probably than Luke Kennard.
Playoff specific, yes.
Yes.
Which is like I talked about on the episode I did solo this week about how regular season, it's kind of Luke Kennard needs more minutes because regular season spacing, it makes sense. But the playoffs, you get to these, just a little different. Court gets a little smaller. Our buddy Rev, the #1 Clippers fan in the Bahamas, shout out Rev. Hope he's doing well. Hope everyone's doing well down there. Said, I think if Kawhi comes back, it has to be Terance. I think having a shooter is too important in the playoffs, so I'd like to see more Kennard. Kennard already doesn't play a lot of minutes, so cutting his leads to DNPs. So Kawhi comes back. He wants Kennard, which I like this idea.
This makes sense. This makes sense, right? You don't at that point need another like kind of two-way tweener player.
Occupy the same space too.
Yes. Yeah. You want someone who can space the floor, who hopefully, like when he is, shooting confidently, is shooting well,
even when he's
shooting
not shooting
quickly.
Yeah. He's still a 45% 3-point shooter.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I do think that this makes sense. And the other thing with if Kawhi comes back, Luke is not going to get the attention that we've kind of become
I cannot wait.
More accustomed to seeing him get, especially in this stretch of the season where it's been like, the Clippers have gotten figured out to an extent,
right?
After having,
when Luke's
like
the most
overachieving there for a minute.
Yeah, when Luke's the most efficient scorer on the team after like Reggie and Morris, if you're the other team, who are you going to try and game out?
Yeah,
the guy who shoots 45% from three. Robert Lehrer, hope I pronounced that right, Robert. He sends us takes all the time. Hope he's doing good. Said, it depends. If Norm Powell is up to speed, the Clips can afford to reduce Luke's floor time. If Powell isn't himself yet, they'll need Luke's firepower and may have to sacrifice T Man's minutes. A lot of level-headed responses to this poll.
So I like this. And I guess my thing with Norm's return,
there's continuity to think about a little bit.
There's continuity to think about. It's also going to be. I'm just curious to see how he'll adjust to his off-ball role with this team.
Sure.
Like we know, body of work once again, wise
right.
that he can do that.
Still a 40% plus shooter on catch and shoot threes.
Yeah, and has some more. Definitely has more weapons offensively and. Similar to Luke, tries defensively.
Agreed. Yes, I think that's fair. Calm Dapper Dawn, elite Twitter handle, said, Luke, if he's hesitant to pull the trigger, T-Man gives you a lot more if he isn't scoring, defense, playmaking, rebounding into transition offense, who can also lead the break. Biggest benefit is we have T-Lue, who will put them in a great position. That last sentence is the most important part here, which is why I kind of agree with the people who say it's kind of situational dependent. We have an elite coach. If Luke Kennard is working, he's gonna spam Luke Kennard.
Yeah.
If Terance Mann's working, he's gonna spam Terance Mann, as we saw in that Utah game. Like that's what makes me.
And we've seen in how many regular season games this year where Luke Kennard, is responsible for, like a 9-point swing,
sparking the whole comeback, right?
Yeah.
Like he can hit 4-point plays. Like this is a tough decision. I think their minutes might end up being close to similar, but I still think Terance Mann might have a bit of the edge. He can just guard multiple positions compared to Luke. He gives you size if you're guarding a point guard or something like that. It's interesting. And it is, I don't know, is this the biggest question going into the Clippers playoff rotation other than is Kawhi Leonard going to be back?
Well,
if you really watch the Clippers, I guess.
No, definitely. Like how those minutes are going to shake out, what Norm is going to look like. I think too, though, I think before we can look ahead to the playoffs, like
got to get past the damn play-in.
Let's just make it past this play-in.
Yeah. You know what would be great is if Luke is just red hot in the play-in.
Yeah.
Just comes in 5 assists.
And I think in a play-in, a 1-game scenario,
give me Luke.
I might be leaning more Luke minutes. Now, to playoff series, like I said.
Oh, yeah. Series is different.
Play in,
get game. Luke out there.
1 game. I think, yeah, you're getting Luke open as often as you can and just having him pull the trigger
the first
as
possession
often as you can.
Yes, the first possession of the play-in that Luke is there for, I hope a play is run for him. And I hope oh man, what a nightmare for the other team. We're going to say this last minute. A lot of people, said the following players should be rested instead of Luke or Terance. Big shout out to these people who are just too smart, to be held back by a two choice question. Just some big brain stuff from these people out there. A lot of people said Reggie Jackson, which I don't fully understand.
Over either one of these two, you want both of these players playing more minutes than Reggie Jackson.
That's what the people who responded by not choosing one of the options said.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Dumb takes. Marcus Morris This was more of a he's too streaky thing.
So Marcus Morris, I understand, man, like public opinion of Marcus Morris seems to swing very heavily depending on
Well,
the
it's
night
like
that he's had.
it's like a shooting splits. It
Very
makes
much like a
sense.
shooting splits. Is there maybe an argument for Terance Mann to play more than Marcus Morris?
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know.
We can open that up at some point.
That's for a
Let's
later
see how
time.
the season closes.
It doesn't really tie in with the theme of this poll, though.
Let's see who has better form when the season's over. These next 3 games. I think that's it. Because form is a very real thing, especially going into a
Closing
one-off.
lineup. You can only pick 5 guys, right?
Yeah.
Is Morris essential, assuming that you have Covington and Batum? Would you rather have Terance out there?
Couldn't you have both?
Who's the other guy then? You just have Paul George as the guard?
Yeah. What?
This is insanity. This
is why you have to answer the question the right way. And then Norm Powell, which some people say, which I didn't get. Someone said if Norm Powell doesn't have it, then Luke and T-Man have more size and are capable of scoring. This shit doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
I'll tell you why it doesn't make any sense. Kennard and Terance are a towering 1 inch taller than Norm Powell based on listed heights.
They're giving him noogies all the time.
They also weigh less than Norman Powell and have shorter wingspans than Norman Powell. Learn what size means.
Do you think that they're giving Norm the too small? Like in 5-on-5 practice,
Luke Kennard,
too small.
Luke Kennard, who I believe is one of 1 players in the NBA to have a negative wingspan.
JJ Redick had it, but yeah.
In the NBA.
I think it's a shooter's thing.
It's of course, there's less that can go wrong when you have a shorter wingspan. Yeah, they're giving Norm the, he's too small. This man's an inch shorter and 10 pounds heavier. He's built like a teapot. I don't know.
What did Michael Jordan say to Muggsy Bogues? Something that's inappropriate to say on the
shoot
podcast.
At you effing. Yeah, it's insane.
That's what they're saying to Norm.
100%.
All right, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about Built Bar. Look, we talk about Built Bar all the time on this podcast. It's a great tasting protein bar, but what you might not know is that Built Bar has so many delicious flavors. There's truly something for everyone. It's cool when you talk to a Built Bar fan. They're definitely passionate about their favorites. If you don't know the Built Bar flavors, you're missing out. They got coconut, cherry, barcia, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, strawberry, orange, cookies and cream, and German chocolate. Ooh, yummy. You want to know what my favorite flavor is?
What?
All of them. That's why I get the mixed box where you get 2 of each of the 9 flavors, 2 raspberries, 2 mint brownies, 2 double chocolates. Can you imagine?
Cannot.
Not only are Built Bar flavors the best tasting, they're also healthy. Check out these macros. Each bar has 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from 130 to 180, only 4 to 5 grams sugar, and only 4 to 5 grams net carbs. Amazing flavors, all tasty, all healthy. And right now they have the Puffs, which you should check out. The first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, and they're covered in 100% chocolate. Not just a protein bar, a protein treat that comes in churro, coconut, and banana cream pie.
Hell yeah.
And right now we have a very special offer for our listeners. If you go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15, you'll get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com.
All right, welcome to Shavings, where we just kind of talk about random stuff loosely related to the Clippers. Mostly-ish. This one is dumb. A lot of stuff we do is dumb. But so Doc Rivers is somehow linked to the Lakers and Jazz jobs, despite being under contract for 3 more years with the 76ers. What do we want to start with first? We're just assuming he gets fired with 3 years left? Or 2, whatever it's going to be?
I mean, so here's what I know is going to happen, right?
Whoa.
76ers.
Is this sources or scuttlebutt?
This
or just
is
from your brain.
This is just from the old brain.
Okay.
Yeah, the old brain hole.
All right. So third on the list of the things, if we're ranking them, right?
Third least reputable
sources. Scuttlebutt, Will's brain. Got it. Okay.
I mean, this is what's going to happen. 76ers probably flame out in the playoffs, not make a finals.
Probably.
Doc Rivers will throw James Harden under the bus.
Literally.
Definitely. I don't think that will lead to Doc losing his job.
Yeah, there's this like scuttlebutt that D'Antoni's going to come back to help James Harden next year or something like that. But does he want to coach in Philly?
I don't know. There's only so many head coaching jobs.
And like, what if they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, like to the Bucks or whatever? Like that's like, I don't know, you're gonna beat the, I don't know, just difficult to beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
But so if he does get fired, I would love it if he went to the Jazz or the team across the hall. Please come back to the Western Conference, Doc Rivers.
Well, this is interesting too because neither of these head coaches have also been fired.
Well, Vogel's gone. That man is gone.
Vogel's on borrowed time.
Yeah. Yes. Not his fault. I don't think. I don't know. I don't pay a lot of attention to that team. Quinn Snyder just might be over it.
Yes. It seems like a lot of folks there in Utah might be over it.
Sure, of course. But I mean, this is like, I would love it if he went to the team across the hall, because here's from Chuck's brain. Here's what would happen if he goes to the team across the hall. He gives another classic Doc quote like he gave when he said it wasn't going to be much different after the Paul George interview about like not being used. He's like, it's not going to be much different.
Yeah.
Ty Lue was there. Well, it's very different. He's going to say something like, this is the team to be with here in LA. And everyone's going to be like, you're a jackass. Like, or he goes to the Jazz and they're already a chemistry mess.
Oh, yeah.
And well, so are the Lakers, but they need like a whole new there's only like 4 players under contract for the Lakers right next year.
You have
one of which is Russell Westbrook.
I still think though, like, despite all the Lakers like sort of dysfunction, like you still have some very strong locker room voices.
Well, sure.
A strong locker room
the
voice.
strongest.
A strong locker room voice, and everyone else will fall in line.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Jazz one, I feel
Everyone's
like that
throwing
situation
food at each other.
I feel like that situation is a little bit more like that to me is maybe an even worse Doc situation.
Yeah.
He's not a manager of personalities.
No, he pretends to be, but is not. So I want him to go, I'm torn. I feel bad having this potential Schadenfreude, but if you're a fan of either of these two teams, you do not want Doc Rivers as a coach. You want him as a regular season coach.
You want him as a dude.
You want him as a human being.
Good dude.
Great dude. Is kind of the default voice a lot of the time when he was coaching for black coaches in the NBA, because he was the most prominent and it was a responsibility that fell on him. And he handled that. I mean, he's like a great orator. Like he's a wonderful speaker.
Yeah.
But you don't want him for the playoffs. He had me fooled a couple years, but you don't want this man for the playoffs.
It's true.
I want him to go to one of these teams so bad.
Well, I don't know if he had us fooled so much as like 18-19 was.
That was a good time.
I mean, that kind of washed over everything.
So when Doc is forced to throw stuff at the wall, he's a great coach. That 42-40 season made no sense. Like 18-19, he had to make these changes and it was working. And then like when he starts to when he figures one thing out, you just kind of run that until the engine blows up. And you're still trying to start the car. Like even still after that. I don't know. Either way, please come back to the Western Conference. Please.
You want Doc back in the Western Conference?
I want to see Ty Lue coach against Doc.
Okay.
And just like, I think part of you, if you're Ty Lue, takes that. If you're Ty Lue's there, it's not going to be much different. A little personal.
So we also didn't talk
about.
That's
a bit of a shot.
We also didn't talk about this. I mean, Ty Lue, second season with, under his reigns.
Sure.
Maybe the first year in a while, Clippers don't finish with a winning record.
True.
And I feel like he could not have done anything better.
Yeah. And Ty Lue does not care.
You think so?
Clip's got to.
I think that'd be hard to come into the office. Like, you're looking at the reports. You see the graph.
The reports.
500.
The report is just a win-loss bar graph.
Above 500 seasons. You see it dipping down to the zero.
Okay. I think
there's a day since incident, but it's for seasons. Since below 500.
Ballmer's up there just shaking his head, changing the sign to 0. So the Clips do got to go 3-0 to get to above 500. I don't think Ty Lue cares about that. If we were healthy, sure, he cares about it.
If we were healthy and we were below 500, man,
we would not have a lot of listens to this podcast. Either way, Doc Rivers, please come back to the Western Conference, I guess. Or just retire. Or just go enjoy your life. Guy's had a crazy, pretty good, an elite career.
Yeah.
Go enjoy, have some good time. Also, if the 76ers say, I'm going to stop. This is just too crazy. How is this just a story out of nowhere? All right, finally, this is a call out to the LA Clippers subreddit, which is a pretty solid subreddit. I want to see the Thickless Batum edits back.
All right, for listeners who haven't seen this, what it?
Okay,
why don't you break it down?
It is one of the weirdest instances of Nick Batum being a Clipper. They just edit it with a filter to make it Nick Batum just has a massive dumper. Just pulling a tractor behind him, but it's just regular game footage. And it is one of the funniest things you will ever see.
So it's Nick Batum with a huge butt.
Yeah. It's funny.
It is funny.
I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. Free hot dog. Thickless Batum. Funny stuff. Also, shout out to the guy on Clippers who made the 4-9 theory.
Yes.
Which might be happening.
Who knows? If it does, tip of the cap.
If it does, I'll buy that person, if they are of age, a beer. One beer.
Send a single beer in a mailing.
Of my choosing. No, if you made that and it happens, DM us if you listen to the show. Hope you do. All right, Thursday's episode, recap of Clippers versus Suns. Whoever's going to be playing, let's hope we get that dub. Let's hope Norm Powell plays. Thursday, talking about what we want to see more of. And of course, whatever else happens between now and then in Clipperland will, if someone wanted to go help out our star rating on Spotify or perhaps write some kind words, where could they do that?
So you leave a review over on Spotify if you want to help those stars out on Spotify, the platform. You could also leave us a rating or review over on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app on your mobile device. You can listen to us on either one of those platforms. We're also on Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Stitcher. We're on Deezer.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Deezer.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can probably check us out. We mentioned up top, but we come at you Monday through Friday.
Yep.
7 a.m. Pacific.
Yep.
Man,
things are getting fun.
Things are getting cloudy.
Okay, I'll take that.
With a chance of people.
All right, we're getting out of here. We got to make some tinfoil hats for the game. I have been positive Chuck Mockler.
And I am William E. Opinion Updike. And as always, we appreciate you.